Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another haul video. Scandalous. Scandalous. That's right, friends. Once again, we are in the void. I have lapsed. I have fallen off the wagon. I have had a moment of indiscretion. Oh, bollocks. I just sort of fell into this one, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. It's been a big week as far as acquisitions is concerned. I've bought a lot of stuff. Shit that needs backing up, frankly. State of the perfume industry at the minute doesn't really give me much faith that there's going to be any new releases that are going to be for me, which is why I keep backing up the shit I love and passing on the stuff that I don't, really. I'm refining my collection and my use. I'm not backing these up to sell. I'm backing these up because I think my plan is to get rid of most of the stuff that I don't wear very often or as often as I want to, and backing up the stuff that I do. And you will come to see that this is what I have been up to. I still need to make a video on the perils of buying and what I have learned over the course of my journey as like a I don't know. I don't want to impart some fucking wisdom. Just thought one of them things where, like a chit chat, like a story time. Basically just where I tell you what I think I have learned over the course of collecting perfume, as far as collecting perfume is concerned. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about my latest acquisitions. And so, my friends, we will start at the beginning. And this morning I received a backup of something I don't have to hand, but I'll tell you about it anyway. And the bottle I backed up was this. Eau Sauvage Parfum. To the best of my knowledge, this has been discontinued, or it's certainly not available anymore. No 100 mils that I can find anywhere. It's not on the... I don't think you can get 100 mils on the Dior website, right? I don't know if they're just selling off old stock, but I've been told by multiple sales associates, and I've been told... Well, I've gleaned that this fragrance has been discontinued simply because it's not on the Dior website, like the 100 mils. I couldn't see it, couldn't find it. So I've been backing these up while I still can. I got a 200 mil for 70 quid. I won it at auction, right? And I won it by 69 pence. Shout out to Joseph Cannoli. Because I always, right, for some bizarre reason, right, whenever I place a bid on eBay, I always put 69 pence at the end of it, right? Now, that is extremely childish, but it worked. So bollocks to it being childish. If it works, I'm game. I won an auction for a 200 ml bottle of Eau Sauvage Parfum. Totally forgot I'd bid on it. £70 and 69 pence. Over the moon. Anyway, today I received another 100 ml bottle of this version, not the vintage one. I actually think this version's nicer. The older one's a little bit too... Do I want to say starchy? No, I don't want to say starchy, but I still think it's harder to wear than the modern one. And I'm a big fan of Elemi resin. So yes, I'm a big fan of that. So I backed that up today. The bottle's away in storage. I totally forgot to get it out, if I'm being perfectly honest. Next I was put in touch by a member of the Les Odorants with a man who was selling some of his fragrances. A man called Dan the Man, if you will. And he showed me his way to Base Notes, where he had his wardrobe, and he's having a bit of a clear out. So thank you to Dan from Les Odorants, and thank you to Dan from Base Notes, who put me in touch. I may ask for a link to his Instagram or his Base Notes page off him, and I might put it in the description, because I know he's selling stuff. So if you're in the UK and you want to buy some stuff, have a look, you know what I mean? I think some of the stuff's on eBay, but I mean, if you can circumvent them fees, you know, it's better for everyone concerned. Which is what I did. Fantastic. I bought 2 fragrances off him, and the first one is this. This is Lorenzo Villarezi Firenze. Incensed. Angry perfume, you know? No, I know it means incense in Italian, don't worry. Or is it Latin? It's one of them. Launched in 1997. This is I don't want to call it a vintage bottle. Don't call it a vintage. But it is definitely the previous presentation, which I prefer. And once I've got one of a certain presentation, whenever I buy something else from the brand, I always try and get the rest of them in that presentation. You know? So they've changed to like white bottles now, or clear bottles. But I prefer the blue. And the first fragrance I bought by this house was in the blue. So the rest of them I was always going to try and get them to be in the blue. Terrified when I looked up the write-up about this fragrance, as it was registered as an amber woody fragrance. Like, started to have like palpitations and shit like that, and I haven't been very well recently. This nearly put us in hospital when I read that. But it isn't an amberwood fragrance, right? This is green, it's dry, it is resinous, balsamic. I don't want to say peppery, it's got a bit of sting to it though. It's got a bit of like zing, you know? I think I'm going to try wearing, I might try and wear this in the spring. I think it'll be unsuitable for summer, but I reckon it's going to have, I reckon it's going to be a barnstormer in the autumn. You know, especially like October, November sort of time. You know, it's cold and dark, or it's getting colder and getting darker. It's going to be that kind of time. So I got this for a very good price, and I am very happy. The next one is a perfume I've been chasing for quite a while. This is one of those ones that meets the standard of improving the collection that I set myself a while ago. And I'm not perfect, and it hasn't always worked out. I've bought a few perfumes that I thought were shite. But, you know, we live and learn. Don't be so hard on yourself. But this one I've smelled before. This one I want. And this one I have found. And this was also off Dan. And this is Lorenzo Parfumier's Tea for Two. In the previous, I want to call it vintage presentation. Fabulous. This is what I have been after for quite some time. I got a decant of this off Raz Scott. God bless you, Raz. I wish you were around more than you are. But this came out in 2000 and was released by, well, obviously Lorenzo Parfumier, but the perfumer was Olivia Giacobetti. And if you look into Olivia Giacobetti, she has done more fragrances that you love than you will think she has. Very capable, very good. Often thought to myself, if I was going to release a fragrance, I would, like, being realistic, there's a very good chance I would ask Olivia Giacobetti to make it, because she's made some cracking stuff. This is tea, shock, Star Anise and Bergamot. Look at that, it's full as well, man. I paid a very reasonable price for this as well. You could have sold this for a lot more, to be fair. It was very reasonable. Cinnamon, spices, gingerbread and ginger, tobacco, honey, leather, vanilla. For me, this is tea, cinnamon, gingerbread, and a bit of tobacco. All right, and a little bit of the honey as well. But I definitely get that biscuity vibe from it. It's outrageous. You know, it smells a bit like a Serge Luton. You know, like 5 o'clock au gingembre. It's got that kind of vibe to it. I don't know which came first, Tea for Two or 5 o'clock, but I'm very pleased to have this. This is a perfume I've been chasing for a while. In this version as well, because like I say, all my versions of L'Artisans are in these bottles. So I like to try and keep them. That's just one of those little things that you do when you've got a collection of stuff. But yes, they're the 2 fragrances I bought from Dan, who I was put in touch with by someone called Dan. So thanks, Dan's. Dan's the man's. Doesn't make any sense. Not to worry. Anyway, where am I putting these? There we are. Okay, so the next haul I got was from a Nouge. So you know what that means, don't you? I don't know. Do you know what that means? We'll start off by clearing something up. Jonathan, 1970, very kindly bought a bottle of this for me and sent it to a Nouge to ship over to me to be included in this haul. So that was very kind of him. And this is a backup of Lauder's Metropolis. This is sensational. I unboxed my first bottle of this a while back, and this is now my backup. It is the Splash, the little cologne splash type thing. I will not be splashing it on. Believe that. Oh, it's got fucking sharp edges. You slice someone open with that. Don't, but you can. It's because you can, doesn't mean you should. Anyway, there it is. Very different from the you can see that. Oh fuck! You can see the louder aesthetic going on there. Metropolis released in 1987, I want to say, maybe 88. Fabulous. Got a great ambergris note and a lovely pineapple mint thing going on. Glorious fragrance. If you've got a similar taste to me, you would probably enjoy that. Very vintage, quality materials. I'm into it. So Jonathan very kindly, Jonathan Ramsey, all got a bottle of that. Shout out to Tripler as well. He put me onto somewhere that had a few bottles of this, and me, Ramsey, and Jonathan all got a bottle each. And I believe we thoroughly enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it. Jonathan also very kindly decanted me some of these, which were sent over in the parcel. And these are some 80s, I think these are Astier du Villette. I think they're from 80s de Venustus, but there are some samples here which I appreciate greatly, and I'll be going through these probably on stream. A couple of them have leaked a little bit, but I mean, to be fair, that's not a bad hit ratio considering there's like what, 7 there. Wouldn't mind if one like leaked a little bit, just a little bit though. Next up, from a Nouge himself, a little freebie. And it is a sensational freebie. For those of you who have been around a while, you know that I collect but do not use scented soaps. And this is Oscar de la Renta's Paula Wee. Outrageous. I swear to God this is true, right? This is a smoky soap, right? How strange. It comes with its own little tray. It's got this kind of, whoops, apologies. Back in you go. Love these. Still going to do the soap video, don't worry. I will be taking you through my vintage collection of soaps. You can't go wrong. Not to be used, just to be collected and looked at. Can't use them. Soap dries my skin out like you wouldn't believe. I only use Dove, if I'm being honest. Not sponsored or anything. But I only use Dove because it's got the moisturiser in it. But I do like collecting these because they smell tremendous. It's a great way to get like, I don't know, they're just like oddities because you don't get stuff like that anymore, you know? They don't really make, it's like the same thing with minis. They don't really make minis and stuff anymore, which is such a shame because they're awesome, you know? It's tiny little versions of like stuff. It's great. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. I am not fully recovered from my ailment. I've had a chest infection, which is why I haven't done I haven't done any lives for the last week or so. I'm getting withdrawal from them. Don't worry, I miss you as well. Anyhow, next up, we will go through... Ooh, first of all, I'll show you another freebie that he sent. I didn't ask for this, but I did receive it. And this is Tino Cosmo. I think I've had one of these before, but I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, look at that. Ingredients: alcohol, demineralized water, and Tino Cosmo fragrance. Well, you would hope Tino Cosmo fragrance was in it, wouldn't you? Considering it's a Tino Cosmo fragrance. And in this box, we have, my friends, a fragrance. Here it is. Oh, got a bit of a kick there, haven't it? There we are. Look at that. Unusual, quite a little bit threatening, that bottle, isn't it? It's just going to fucking headbutt you. You know what I mean? Bang! Anyway. Oh, that went right up my nose. What a prat. Oh, don't do that. That's very pleasant. I like that. And pleasant in a good way, not pleasant in a bad way. Oh, it's got a little turtle on it. Hey. What's the other thing? There's turtle and tortoise. That's one of them. Hello. Well, I like that as well. Oh, very fortunate that that is a nice smelling fragrance, because that is really up my nose. But anyway, thank you, Anuj. You are very kind. Anyway, next up we have a couple of backups. In fact, everything I've got left is backups, but it needed to be done, and I will explain why. This is Ambra by Etro. This is the eau de cologne. Alright. This is Chalnur by Etro. This is the eau de toilette. I do believe I have a bottle of Chalnur here as well. Chalnur is a very good fragrance, like an aromatic thing, very nice herbal green. I'm going to do an Etro series where I maybe like review or do like a house overview, you know, like what they call the family portrait. You know, I might do it. That Tino Cosmo is actually really nice. These are fantastic. I love these bottles. I love this house. You will have seen on my channel before. Oh, there's Anuj looking after the neck. Look, little nuggets of wisdom. Little plastic nuggets. Thank you, Anuj. Looking after the old throat of the fragrance there. No need for them anymore though. Comes with a little thing. I think this may be a slightly older bottle because it's only got alcohol, dennet, aqua and parfum on the bottom. It's a very short ingredient list. That's nice. You'll have to say it. So that's Ambra. I've got a few bottles of Ambra now, so I reckon I'm set on that. Very pleasant, very nice. A little bit different from, it's not as labdanum heavy, it's a little bit more vanillic, you know. Good fragrance, that. And Chalnur, I will unbox. Had to take the security sticker off the back. Also, while I'm on the subject, the Border Force, the British Border Force, opened my package and opened one of the fragrances, which were very securely wrapped by Anuj. They must have thought it was contraband, which I suppose it kind of was, but it just wasn't illegal contraband. I don't know if that's a contradiction in terms. Actually, I might have dropped a bollock there. And considering I'm English, you would think that I'd be able to fucking speak the lingo, but not to worry. This is, as you can see, slightly different. The label is circular. These are slightly more modern, you see, but not much, you know. Still only three notes, three ingredients, short ingredients list. Chalnur. I'll be coming on to that fragrance at some point, don't you worry. I haven't started wearing it yet. It's very fresh. For a green fragrance, it's very fresh. It's very aromatic. Very good, though. It's a great house. Probably the most underrated designer house that there is, Etro. And they look after their fragrances as well. I smelled quite a few of them in Phoenix, and their fragrances, well, not 100%, because no reformulation is 100%, because if it was, it wouldn't need to be reformulated. But they've taken good care of their fragrances, you know. If it was 1-to-1, it wouldn't be a reformulation, would it? That's the thing. But Etro, they do take good care of their fragrances, I'll say that. Next up, I could have segued brilliantly there. We will talk about a brand which can no longer be trusted to take good care of their fragrances. And this is because the license to buy these, to make these fragrances, has recently passed to L'Oreal. And as we all know, L'Oreal is where fragrances go to die. And I think this fragrance has been discontinued. Right, from reading between the lines, I think it's been discontinued. And if it hasn't, it might as well have been, because L'Oreal are making it now. Anything past the 1st of January 2021, I will not buy. I bought 4 bottles on a British discounter called Essential, and when I received them, they'd all been made in France, which is the telltale sign of the L'Oreal reformulation, because the previous ones were made in Spain. And so I got in touch with Anuj and said, do you have any made in Spain Prada Amber Pour Homme? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, I want a few. And so I got a few. I love this fragrance. I recently reviewed it. It is brilliant. It is an absolutely sensational fragrance. It's one of my favourites. It could be a daily wear. This is one of the fragrances that will survive the inevitable cull when I fucking come to sell off quite a few of my fragrances. Well, when I continue selling off quite a few of my fragrances, I've sold like fucking at least 60 bottles. At least, probably more, kicking on towards 80. A lot with backups though. Like I sold off lots of Chorus Freischer because just pineapple and deep, hideous musk, you know, wasn't great. But anyway, this is the Prada which I seek, as you can see on here. I hope you can. It says made in Spain. Alright, made in Spain is the version you want. Sorry, but it is. The reformulation is shit. L'Oreal are shit. I don't rate them. I don't rate their fragrances. I don't rate what they've done to stuff like Mugler, which they absolutely butchered before they killed the Amen line. Why didn't they just discontinue them, the bastards? Scandalous, really. When you consider what Mugler perfumes were, and then every time you walk past the Mugler stand now, there's Angel, Alien, and Alien Man, and that's it. And it's like, fuck me, this is one of the great designer houses of perfume in the last, 30 years? And L'Oreal have just come along and said, nope. Destroyed it. Don't get us wrong, I just sold my Pure Havane this morning because I don't like that. But Amen is one of the great fragrances. It's one of the great designer releases ever, frankly, if you want the truth. Angel Men. But so no, I don't trust L'Oreal whatsoever. I might try and get a sample. I know my mate bought 4 bottles when I did, because he watched my video and was like, why didn't you tell us that Prada Amber Pour Homme had been discontinued? And I was like, mate, I did. And he's adamant that I didn't, but I did. Richie G, you're a silly boy. But he bought himself some, and he bought the L'Oreal version, and I sent mine back so that I could buy those. Don't mind paying extra for quality. Anuja still got some on sale, so if you want some, I would strike while you can. Because that shit is the type of stuff that the prices will fucking bolt on eBay. That'll be 200 quid a bottle in 2 years. It's already going up. I've seen bottles, sealed bottles of Prada Amber Pour Homme, right, on eBay, 150 quid. All right, that's far above retail, you know. It's It's a mess out there, you know, as the song says. But anyway, last but not least, I have backed up another fragrance. Another fragrance I have backed up. 3 bottles of this I have. Thought I was getting 4. Turned out it was 3. Not to worry. And this is Missoni Uomo. If you look for this on eBay, there are bottles going for 300 fucking quid. And I was like, bollocks. I sold mine for 155 because I bought this before, sprayed it. I was like, fuck it. And I put it on eBay, right, for 155 quid. And it was gone in about what? Somebody must have had a saved search or something because it was gone in like 5 minutes. It was crazy. Like, it wasn't as quick as the Michael Kors. I had Michael Kors for men. And that went like literally within 2 minutes of it being posted. It was remarkable. I posted it, left the house, right? Got to like the bottom of the hill where I lived, and it was sold. Had a thingy on me phone, gone, and I was like, whoa. And it was a partial. Crazy, but this is a vintage fragrance obviously from deepest Italy. It is very, very vintagey. You know, it's got that ye olde 80s, 70s kind of thing going on. Very aromatic, woody, classical chypre structure, but it's not a fruity chypre. You know, it's very woody. It's very 70s, 80s. You know, came out in 1984, maybe, 83, 84, 85, that kind of territory. At the end of the wave, it wasn't the crest of the wave, it was the end of the wave of those perfumes. I bought 3 of these. Like I say, I thought I was getting 4, but I didn't. It's so dark. Leather, oak moss, vetiver, carnation, basil. There's no Y in basil, so I don't know why people call it basil, but it's basil. Juniper, a little bit floral in the mid. I regretted selling it. When I sold it, and I thought, bollocks, I'm having some of that. I don't think Anoush cared for it very much because there's a sticker on here saying toilet water. It's a bit harsh. No boxes, but bollocks to boxes. You don't buy boxes, you buy perfumes and fragrances, you know what I'm saying? Here are my Missoni Uomo. There are many like them. Well, no, there aren't many like them, but these ones are mine. These are the 125 mls. Where were you? Made in France by Orlane. I can't read the batch code, but there is one. Got these crazy stickers on. Look. I don't know why they're there. I'll get in touch with Anoush, actually. Why are they on there? And what do they mean? You know? Like, what happened? And why isn't there any on that one? I think he's still got some 100 mils left, and he's got some 75 mls left. But these are the big units. I want to give this another go, and I smelled it before I sold it, and I was like, wow. I'd put it up for sale. It went immediately, and I was like, bollocks. If it hadn't gone as quickly as it had gone, I reckon I would have took the advert down. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm glad to have a second chance, especially with this fragrance at this price, because I'm not paying eBay fucking prices. 300 fucking pound for this. Piss off. I think it works out. He's got it up for 195, but for this size, so the other ones will be cheaper, you know. So if you want some and you want to try it, that's where I got mine from. Anoush Enchanté Parfum. So, yes, and I paid for these, by the way. I didn't get them sent for free. That is my haul, my friends. That is my haul. I hope you've enjoyed my haul video. I've enjoyed it. My throat isn't very happy about it, but that's life. Yes, I hope you have enjoyed today's haul. I will hopefully be back. Well, it's Friday today, so I'll be back on Sunday with a fragrance rotation. I'd like to be back to doing live streams, but I've only been talking for half an hour here, only. I've been talking for half an hour here and I can feel my throat raging. So I'll probably give it another couple of days before I do a live stream again. Sorry about that. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching, friends. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will hopefully see you all again soon. Bye-bye.